Welcome back. We've just reacted to Sleep Token's first two EPs. I wanted to sit down and review all the lyrics one more time and get a full picture of what's going on before diving into Sundowning. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. On this channel, we react to all types of things. We're still pretty new. We've just started, but we've landed on Sleep Token, and we're currently going through their full discography. And what we try to do is relate to the world around us through an ADHD lens. I was recently diagnosed, and so this is me discovering where I fit into this new world. So let's just get into it. First, we have Thread the Needle from Sleep Token's first EP, 1. So my experience with this first track, Thread the Needle, to me it told a story of this person who we now know as Vessel, begging this person, this entity, for some kind of connection, something. Lines like, bury me inside this labyrinth bed. We can feel that time is dilated. It's like this moment of bliss where you could just extend. And he's almost begging sleep for that time, I guess, with him, with them. And then Vessel's saying that we could spend the night in fascination. When I first heard it, naturally, I leaned toward a story of a relationship between two people. But of course, we know Sleep Token has their lore. So you always want to look at it from those two perspectives. So this line, you could thread the needle. At the time, we talked about it meaning navigating a difficult situation. And in this context, thread the needle in a relationship, it's, I guess you could say, trying to make this impossible, unhealthy relationship work, that being the impossible task. But there's also an imagery of a thread going through a needle. It's entering through. And we know that there's a lot of references of consumption and enveloping one another. So I think maybe there's something there as well. And having gone back and watched the video, there's definitely some imagery of transformation. So this makes me think this is one of those first moments of Sleep and Vessel becoming one, or rather Sleep entering his vessel, or the thread entering the needle.
The daylight recedes and you listen. There's a room.
So moving to Fields of Elation, one of my favorite tracks off of these first EPs. The melody is beautiful. Vessel singing is full of sorrow and fragility almost. In this song, it almost feels like Vessel is reveling in him being consumed by sleep in whatever fashion, you see it as. But he talks about how nobody can pull him out almost of this dream-like state, and the fields of elation being quiet and lonely. And we discussed that meaning like this potential for growth and beauty and peace, but it's not fulfilled yet. Fields ready to be sown. And then at the end of Fields of Elation, which I think is the key part here, is the outro where he says, I'm losing my faith in our lives apart. So this tells me that once he's kind of latched himself onto sleep, or vice versa, as time goes by and he's in this elation, he doesn't see a purpose. He doesn't see the life that he had before being with sleep, or them being apart. And so he starts to only find meaning when they're together, or when he's being manipulated by sleep. Chronologically, I'm not sure if these are in order, but assuming that they are, you have Vessel and Sleep, I guess, first making their pact, making their relationship official, I guess, in the first one. And then this is kind of Vessel in that dreamlike state, being pulled away from his previous life. Just before moving on, I love this song. I love the breakdown, and the chorus. One of my favorites. And now we have the third track from the first EP, When the Bow Breaks. First of all, the breakdown in this song, I think, may be my favorite. If you haven't seen my reaction, go check it out. And when I first reacted to this one, I remember the sounds of like almost church bells, and it kind of felt like that final moment of no return with Sleep, that point of no return. And Vessel's previous life continues to kind of disappear when he says things like, sometimes when we touch, everything we love resets. It's like when they're apart, Vessel slowly begins to get pieces of himself back, but as soon as Sleep comes back, it just all goes away again, and he falls in love all over again. And for this section here, I'd love for you guys to maybe give me some help. We could be released, flowing over sorrow days. We could stay suspended, even when the bow breaks. To me, when I hear that, it almost feels like one of them is trying to convince the other that what they're doing is right, even though it may feel like something's gonna break. This is the way. Let me know in the comments if I'm off here or I feel like I'm missing major parts of this. Please fill me in. I'd love to have a fuller picture and more perspectives leading into Sundowning. And that would wrap up sleeptoken's first EP 1. Moving into 2, their second EP, I did see in one of the comment sections that Calcutta is actually a reference to a Hindu god, the god of destruction, I believe. I think it was Kali, god of destruction, rebirth, and a whole bunch of other things. But having that piece of information and going into the lyrics, Calcutta was a great song, and it really carried over some of the vibes from the first EP. But then in the next track, I feel like it does make that first hard shift in their sound. But for Calcutta, some of the verses here that stuck out to me. I am caught, tangled in, wrapped and quartered, tripping up and over. Time lived again for just a moment, missing pieces find me. In Calcutta, we have Vessel kind of praising the moments that he has with Sleep and talking about how when they're apart, he finds himself just waiting till the night, till he could dream again, till he's whole again with Sleep. Starting the CP with this track, it's almost relaying those foundations that Vessel is just completely entangled and enthralled by Sleep. At this point, it feels like they have completely become one. And so you have Vessel kind of saying Sleep's name when he wakes, longing for Sleep. So there's still so there are still moments where Vessel has that privacy. He has that awareness of his own life and his own thoughts. But those moments are filled with longing for Sleep. And in the last verse, you have Vessel talking about time lived again for just a moment, missing pieces find me. And I'm whole again for just a moment. And he just repeats those lines. So it almost creates this image of night after night, Sleep is visiting Vessel. And he has these lines in the background saying, I sweat and I ache for. So it's almost like these visual cuts to Sleep tossing and turning at night, being visited by Sleep, but the tossing and turning is almost like bliss. It's pain, but it's pleasure. Maybe I'm off. Please let me know.
And I'll see you on the
And then leading from there, which I think is where the story gets very interesting, we have Nazareth. Now, Nazareth is definitely my favorite track overall in these first EPs. Just the vibe, the darkness. There's also a little bit of like sexual tension. Everything we love about a Sleep Token track. And so in this song, you can see a clear shift in what Vessel's willing to do. And having heard it a few more times and having done a little bit of research, you find Vessel waking in his bed after one of these nights being visited, and Sleep is still with him. And it's almost like they finally fused and have become this new thing, this new person. And you have that part of Sleep controlling or egging on Vessel to do this violent act to this person that he's woken up next to. Vessel is basically being made to cut off everything good of his past life. I've read that this person could symbolize Eden down the line. Eden being this paradise, this safe place that he may have had at one point, and will eventually realize that he did not appreciate. But we have this song ending with Vessel shooting and killing Eden. And this line, "They won't be missing you." It feels like that's Sleep kind of just justifying to Vessel, like, it's okay, no one's gonna miss you, just do this so we can move forward with our relationship or our goals. And then we have Jericho wrapping everything up. And this one was interesting to me because there's some themes in here that we see down the line as well of devouring. And I kept seeing references to vor and that being like a type of thing that people like. But in this song, I don't know how to say this. It almost feels like directly after Nazareth, Vessel and Sleep are devouring Eden. Either to get rid of the evidence or to destroy that part of him. Or it's Sleep devouring and becoming stronger. So overall, where are we? We have Vessel coming into contact with Sleep, longing for what Sleep is promising. And since Vessel can only come into contact with Sleep when he's dreaming, there's this longing, almost like a drug. You know, during the day, that's all you're thinking of, and then once you can have it, you just completely immerse yourself in it. And then going into 2, it's almost like a continuation of that, to the point where now Sleep has fully injected themselves into Vessel's life, to the point where in Nazareth, Sleep is directly controlling and manipulating Vessel's actions and getting him to destroy his previous life. And finally, ending with Jericho, this almost consumption or consummation of this relationship by devouring Eden, or maybe it's even Sleep kind of fully metaphorically devouring Vessel after this act. Thank you guys so much for getting me to start this journey from the beginning. I've been a Sleep Token fan, but I've always been weary to go back and get the full picture. I guess something was telling me to wait for you guys. Please like the video if you're excited to get started on Sundowning. And as we speak, we are at 111 subs. So thank you guys so much. I've been doing this for about a month and all the interactions have been incredible. So thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me know in the comments what you guys think the story is up to this point. Do I have a pretty good idea, or am I missing some key things? If I am, please fill me in. Thank you guys again. I'm going to keep saying it. Be safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.